Hi, I'm Dave Chaplin from IR35 Shield. I am here once again with Crawford Temple, and this is the Compliance Files. Now, today, we're going to talk about a number of subjects. This particular subject, first one is understanding your payslip. Exciting, eh?
Be riveting.
So, contractor signs up with an umbrella company.
Yeah.
They haven't used one before. And say the first month, payslips comes through. They're looking at that and they need to understand what's on it and what it all means. What should they be looking out for?
Okay, there are two parts to it that they'll see. The first part will show the company income, the total amount of income that the umbrella has received.
From the agency?
From the recruitment company based on the contract. So,
yeah.
And then what they'll see in that section is they'll see the deductions that have been made by the umbrella company from that amount of money.
Yeah.
And that part I call a reconciliation statement. It's sometimes called the assignment statement or just a statement. And it will show total money in, all of the deductions that have been applied, so the umbrella margin, employers' national insurance, holiday pay, apprenticeship levy, all of these things will be shown.
So there's money taken off it's amounts taken off the money that's been paid from the agency to the umbrella before you even get to the point where we're working out how much is it set aside for salary for the contractor.
So then what happens is it will show there'll be an amount that's left over, and then that will be broken down, depending on the umbrella contract, but typically will be broken down into an amount that is salary, which is normally for the hours that national minimum wage, and then there'll be a bonus. So you'll have those two payments. So it will show the total amount. That's when it will switch to the payslip, and the payslip and how the payslip is shown is defined by the Employment Right Act of 1996.
All right.
And so it has a specific requirement in terms of how it's displayed. And that's why when the contractor gets their payslip, some umbrellas will have it on one single sheet and you'll have the statement at the top and the payslip at the bottom.
Okay.
Some will have two separate sheets where you'll have one sheet that is the payslip and one sheet's the reconciliation statement.
Right, okay.
Now, the payslip's got to be provided to the contractor on or before they're paid, and it will show their base salary.
Is that in law, is it? That you have to give it to them before you actually pay them?
On or before. So it's at the point of paying them, they have to get it. Now, what may happen is that some umbrella companies have online portals, so they may send you a text and say your payslip's available on the portal. That's fine.
All right.
It hasn't got to be a paper delivery of a payslip to them.
That's good. So, but there can't be a great big long pause. They got paid. They should get the payslip that same day.
Yeah.
Or before. Okay. All right. Okay.
And then basically, so you'll either have the statement at the top and a payslip on the bottom, or you'll have two separate sheets of paper, one being the payslip, one being the reconciliation report.
Yeah.
The thing from a contractor's perspective is the payslip will just show effectively what your gross taxable pay is, which will be the salary and the bonus.
Yeah.
If you're getting holiday pay, and I know we're going to talk about holiday pay separately, but if you're taking the holiday pay as an advance automatically on each pay run, that will be a separate line on your pay slip, and you may well have a separate line if there are expenses on there or anything else. But that doesn't really, for a contractor's perspective, whilst that's a legal requirement, doesn't really give them the information they want. The information they want to see what's come in and where all the money's gone is why there's a separate reconciliation statement, because that should be penny perfect and show where everything's gone and where the charges have been.
And so so essentially they're getting two things, aren't they? The statement and a payslip.
Yeah.
Reconciliation statement and a payslip. So
Correct.
the payslip is
just an employee payslip.
It's employee payslip, same as whatever
So
all other employees
it won't have the umbrella margin on it. It won't have any of the employers NI deduct or anything like that. Yeah. It will be just like an employee payslip, which is why you need the statement that shows all of the deductions that have come out, so the worker can see it.
So so the money that's come in, those deductions that have come out from the umbrella company's money, and I think we touched on that in a different discussion, didn't we? That's the umbrella company's money.
Yeah.
It's not all of the contractors.
Correct.
Do they set aside some money for holiday pay?
Yeah, so they automatically have to, generally in an umbrella contract, it will be 28 days holiday, which includes the bank holidays. which equates to 12.07%.
Okay, let's not do too much detail on this because we're going to do a separate one on it. So one bit is holiday pay.
Yeah.
Then there's some set aside to pay the employment taxes.
Yeah.
Secondary class one NICs, employers NI, and apprenticeship levy. Are they that gets set aside as well? So those are the main things. Is there anything else that might be in that reconciliation bit?
It'll be any deductions. What the interesting thing from a contractor's perspective is if your umbrella provider in their reconciliation statement just has one line that says employment costs and amount of money, it would be worth going back to them and asking them for a breakdown of that, because some umbrella companies may be putting additional charges into that employment cost box that they're not aware of. So, for example, you could have an umbrella company saying we're only charging you £15 a week, but when you look at the employment cost, they could be charging you another £2 for something else and £2 for something else. So if the employment costs aren't itemised by line, and you can see exactly what they are, then ask for that breakdown.
And that the employment costs, two of those are employment taxes. Employers NI and app levy. The app levy, is that 0.5% of what their gross taxable pay is? I don't think there's any free bands, is there? It's just 0.5%. So that should be equal to 0.5% of what their, is it gross taxable pay? Is that the correct phrase to use? What's the amount the contractor's being paid?
Yeah, be on the, because it works.
On the payslip, isn't it? It's on the payslip, that bit. So it should be 0.5% of that. So they've got
you'll have the auto enrolment costs as well if they're within the auto enrolment. Most umbrellas don't enrol you for 3 months. Because you're allowed to have a deferred period, so it won't be on your initial pay slips. And then what you should get is communication from the umbrella company during that period explaining the auto enrolment process.
So the app levy 0.5%, and then I'm just thinking about how they can check, because you were saying if it's all in one bin, then it's difficult for them to work out if the right amounts have been deducted.
Yeah, generally if it's itemised, the systems that the umbrella uses means that all the lines will have the right numbers alongside them, because that's what's being reported back through RTI to the revenue. So I wouldn't be worried too much about whether those lines are correct, because if they're specifying something as app levy, then they'll put the number in there that's then reported automatically through the systems. It's more about where you just get it all lumped together and they put one line and says employment costs. That's where you want to see, because you're trying to see not whether the figures are correct, because they will be in 99.9%.
I mean, they all use just payroll software, so it's
it's special software for umbrella. You can't use an umbrella can't use basic payroll software because of the way all the calculations work.
It's a nightmare. Okay, so they're just looking for those deductions to be correct. They want to have them itemised, and a payslip's just like a payslip. And I guess they can, if they want to check that the right amount of taxes are being paid, they could go online to any salary calculator. It's a very, very simple calculation. There's tons of them. Listen to the Taxman is one. We published one, the first one ever, I think, about 20 years ago. And there's loads of them on there.
Generally,
isn't there?
most of the providers use 4 or 5 standard umbrella software programs, and that will run it all correctly. It's if you don't get a reconciliation statement and you just get a payslip, that's one sort of payslip with everything on it, then that there might be errors in those calculations, because it suggests that someone's using a payroll software which can't do the calculation correctly for all the holiday pays and everything else. So there's usually discrepancies within those. Okay, great. Thanks for that, Crawford. That was the fascinating discussion about payslips and how to check they're okay. If you have any questions or comments about what we've talked about on payslips, then please put them in the comments section below the video, and we'll try to answer them in a future session of the Compliance Files.